Hey guys, it's Liz of Consume My Books, and I'm here with a book haul, a big one as always. I'm wearing this ridiculous hat because I brought it to wear to my best friend's Christmas party later this month, and I want to get my $3 worth, so I'm wearing it now. So let's talk about some of the books I've gotten. I'm going to start with review books. From Quirk Books, I got a copy of Stars and Swipes, Postcards of Awkward Americana, and Hugs and Misses, 30 postcards of awkward romance. These are basically really silly postcards, and they say things like, there was one of the romance ones where it was a woman saying, "You're the best thing that's ever happened to me," and the guy says, "Aw, thanks honey," and she says, "I was talking to the pie," and there's a little table between them with the pie on it. So that's really cute, and I'm gonna do a little post on these. I actually gave my mom the pie postcard because we really like pie at my house. Next up, I got some books from Macmillan. I got a copy of Beastkeeper by Kat Hellison, which looks really good. I believe she might have also written When the Sea is Rising Red, but I could be wrong. This one sounds kind of fairy tale-like, and it comes out in February of 2015. I got a book by Heather Demetrios. This one is called I'll Meet You There. I have not read anything by Heather Demetrios, but I've heard Something Real is very good, and this one is already getting a lot of rave reviews, so I'm looking forward to reading it soon. I got a copy of Save Me by Jenny Elliott. This is Swoon Reads, which is kind of a new thing that Macmillan is doing, so I'm looking forward to checking this out. This one is called A Jewish Soldier in Unlikely Warrior by Greg Rush, and it's about a Jewish soldier in Hitler's army. This one is out in February of 2015. Save Me is out in January, and Something Real is out in February, according to the date on the galleys. And Macmillan also sent me a copy of Flirty Dancing by Jenny McLaughlin. I don't know a ton about what this one is about, but it looks really cute. And then I got a copy of A List of Things That Didn't Kill Me, which is by Jason Schmidt. So I'm looking forward to reading those. And then St. Martin's Press sent me two books. These are called New Money and Independently Wealthy. They are by Lorraine Zago Rosenthal, who wrote Other Words for Love. I don't really know much about these. They kind of sent me this one unsolicited, and when I was like, hey, I'll try and read this, but I don't actually have the first book, they sent this one in the mail. So I will try and get to these at some point, and if I do, you'll find out what they're about and what I think of them. And now we're getting into some things that I bought. I went to the bookstore at one point. You'll find out why I went to the bookstore in a minute. But while I was at the bookstore, I went to Politics and Prose. I found The Crane Wife by Patrick Ness for $8. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Patrick Ness. He wrote the Chaos Walking trilogy, The Knife of Never Letting Go, etc., etc. He wrote A Monster Calls. He wrote More Than This. His books have a tendency to rip my heart out. This is really considered an adult book. It is a retelling of the folktale The Crane Wife, and so I'm really looking forward to reading this one soon. I want to try and find the original tale and read that one first, so I kind of have an idea of the source material. I also think this cover is incredibly cool. The reason I was at the bookstore, I did some Christmas shopping. I'm not going to tell you about that because that's a secret, but I went there partially hoping to find a copy of The Slow Regard of Silent Things by Patrick Rothfuss. I guess you could say this is the Kingkiller Chronicles, book 2.5. This is all about the character Ari. You know who she is if you've read The Name of the Wind and The Wise Man's Fear. This just kind of talks a little bit more about what she does when other people aren't around. This is a very different book. I've already read it. It's very beautifully written, and the way it's told is just not like a lot of other things that you see out there. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I wouldn't say I love it as much as The Name of the Wind and The Wise Man's Fear, but I really think that it's a book that I'm gonna have to reread a lot in order to fully grasp and understand and appreciate. And I'm gonna be really curious to go back and reread it once the whole series is out and see how different turns of phrase and different things that we see pop up in the story wind up being important to telling us what could happen in book 3. I mean, maybe none of the stuff that's in this book is really important. Maybe there is no foreshadowing for book 3, but I strongly suspect that there are at least a couple bits and pieces that are tied in there. And I also don't know how big of a role Ari is going to play in book 3, so I'm going to be really interested to find that out as well. This next book is not going to surprise anybody. That is my phone. I got a copy of Blue Lily, Lily Blue by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the 3rd book in the Raven cycle, which is going to be a quartet. I absolutely adore this cover. I think it is beautiful. I have not started reading this series, but I have heard very good things about it. Like literally, everyone has been talking about it. I went to several book events in November and so many authors were like, yeah, I've been loving the Raven cycle books by Maggie Stiefvater. I pre-ordered this from Fountain Bookstore, so there's a doodle in it and a book plate that says it's signed to me. And I'm looking forward to starting the series soon. I think I'm going to read Sinner before I start this series so that that storyline is nice and wrapped up for me, but then I look forward to this. And next up, a category I don't always have in book hauls, but today I do. We're going to have books that I got signed because I went to 4 author events in November. It was a busy month. So I'm going to show you what I got signed. The first event was with Gail Carriger. She wrote the Parasol Protectorate series. I already owned Soulless and Changeless, so now these are both signed to me. And then I bought the final 3 books in that series, which are Blameless, Heartless, and Timeless. I've only actually read Soulless, but I'm really excited to read the rest of these, hopefully in 2015. I'm really glad that I had an excuse to buy the rest of them. And she also has a YA series out, which is called, I forget what the series itself is called, Finishing School. So this is her YA series, and I have not read the first book in this series. I actually don't have a copy. I had an ARC for a while, and I tried to order a hardcover for the signing. It did not come in time. I'm still hoping it comes soon. But at any rate, I got Curtsies and Conspiracies, which is the 2nd book in the Finishing series, and then Waistcoats and Weaponry, which is the 3rd book. And I think these are supposed to be kind of a spin-off of the Parasol Protectorate series. I'm not sure how much they're tied in, but I'm looking forward to reading them soon. And then I also went to see an author whose book I read recently, one of her books. I saw Robin Lefevre, who wrote Grave Mercy, which is a series about assassin nuns. We read this in October for Wednesday YA because we wanted kind of a creepy book, and I mean, I would say assassins are creepy. I don't know if you guys agree. I already own this one. I read it and I really enjoyed it. I also already owned Dark Triumph, so I got both of these signed. And of course I got all the Gale books signed. What I did have a chance to do was buy a copy of Mortal Heart at the signing. And I'm really excited to finish this series because I've heard that, I mean, the first book is pretty good and I really enjoyed it, but I've heard that it just gets way better when you get to books 2 and 3. So I'm going to be hopefully getting on that very, very soon. And then I went to a signing that had several authors, but one that I was really interested in seeing, Claire Legrand. She wrote The Cavendish Home for Boys and Girls, which I already owned and haven't read, but I'm really looking forward to reading it, so Claire was kind enough to sign this for me. And then I bought her newest book, which doesn't want to come over here, and that is Winter Spell. This is kind of a creepy, darker retelling of the Nutcracker. And Claire accidentally made a mark on a random page in my book, and what did she do? She turned it into a unicorn. Is that not awesome? I'm really looking forward to reading this book. If you look at how pretty this hardcover is, you will see why it was impossible for me to resist it. Nice, beautiful, pearly sheen. I guess you wouldn't say it's pearly, it's more metallic. I don't know. What do you think if you own this book? What word would you use? And then there was a really big signing at Politics and Prose shortly before Thanksgiving that I went to and really enjoyed. I only got books signed by 3 authors there, but as you will soon see, I had a bunch of books. So one of the people who was there is Gayle Forman. She wrote If I Stay, Where She Went, Sisters Insanity, Just One Day, and I had already met her once, so I actually had signed copies of all of those. My copy of Just One Year was not signed, so I went ahead and had her sign that. As a lot of you guys know, Stephanie Perkins recently published a YA anthology. It is called My True Love Gave to Me. It is a collection of 12 holiday stories that are primarily romantic, and they are by different YA authors. And so I bought copies. This is the US cover, which has bookmarks in it because I really liked one of the stories. And this is the UK cover, which has pink edges and this beautiful gold heart with the pink lights. So yes, I had Gayle sign the page that her story is on in both of these. I had Stephanie, who was also there, sign these as well. Now I pre-ordered a copy of Isla from Malaprops when it came out, so that's already signed to me and personalized. But Steph was nice enough to sign my original hardcovers, Anna and the French Kiss and Lola and the Boy Next Door. And I love these covers. I mean, they're not my absolute favorite in terms of design, but I do think that they're adorable, and in terms of sentimentality, I really wanted to keep them. But it's also really, really hard for me to pass up an opportunity to make my series match. So I got the new hardcovers of Anna and Lola, and she signed these too, which was really nice of her. She actually thanked me for bringing so many books for her to sign. This works really well for me because I would say that as of right now, this could change with rereads, it could change. As of right now, I would say that Anna and Lola fall under the category of being 2 of my all-time favorite books. Isla does not, and so I can keep my 2 originals together on my favorites shelf and then put the 3 together on a different shelf somewhere. So that's my current plan, but I guess if I reread Isla and I love it, then all 5 of them are just gonna have to live on my all-time favorite shelf. And that's the way it's gonna be. Maybe sometime I will just have to make a signed shelf. But then it's like, I don't want to split up my signed books on my favorite books. So maybe I'll do favorites and then signed. I don't know. How do you guys organize your books? Because there's just so many choices. I got to get another one of my favorite books signed as well. Not by Stephanie Perkins. Winger by Andrew Smith. If you follow Andrew on Twitter or are friends with him on Facebook, you're probably thinking, he sounds like a really nice guy. He is a really nice guy. It was really great chatting with him. He signed my copy of Winger. He signed Grasshopper Jungle. This is the copy with the crazy green edged pages. He signed my copy of The Marbury Lens. And I also purchased a copy of The Books Are Falling Down. I know the suspense is killing you. I also purchased a copy of 100 Sideways Miles, and he was nice enough to sign that for me as well. And I'm really looking forward to reading this one soon. So that is everything that I have in my mailbox for now, and I think it's quite enough. This should keep me busy for a while. Let me know what you guys have gotten. That is all for now, and I will talk to you later. Bye.